Okay, so this is the National Earthworm Recording Scheme report for 2023. I'm just going to give a brief overview of some aspects of it, particularly some little projects that I've been working on. First up, I just want to mention a project that I've been doing with the Royal Parks called Leave the Leaves. And what we've been doing is transects of 10 soil pits in areas where the leaves are not cleared, adjacent to areas where they are cleared, and we've been doing a transect of 10 soil pits in each. We've done 5 paired sets of transects, and I've still got all the ID to do, but we'll be looking at what the impact is of leaving the leaves. So that's an interesting little project that will have something coming out from it in the new year. Another project I've been working on is with an experiment called Sapperton Wilder. So Sapperton Wilder is based in Gloucestershire, and it's a bit of land, a fair bit of land, that has been quite hammered agriculturally. So yeah, lots of pesticides, lots of ploughing, etc. And Beowulf Rewilding are looking at doing a load of different changes in the land use to look at things like agroforestry, regenerative farming, and see how that impacts the wildlife on site. So they're in year 0 at the moment, and I've been working with them to get some baseline earthworm data. So we did some surveying in every single field. So that's a really exciting one to keep an eye out, and I recommend having a look at their website as well. Another project that I've been working with is Tees-Swale Naturally Connected, which is part of a landscape partnership project up in the north of England, in the Yorkshire Dales. And we've been doing some earthworm surveying, we've been doing some training, and they're such a keen, wonderful group of volunteers. So I've already been up there twice this year for several days, for 3 days at a time, and I'm hoping to go back up again in the new year. And we've had loads of Vice County firsts because of it, because it's so under-recorded. So each time I go up, they get new Vice County firsts, and they get more excited and want me to come back, so it's brilliant. I've also been working up north with the Forest of Bowland, AOMB, where I've been working with a lady called Carol Edmondson on a project called the Haytime Project, which is all about hay meadow restoration. And what we've been doing is sampling a number of the hay meadows that Carol works on. And they're all at different phases in regeneration. Some of them have been for quite a few years, some of them are fairly recent. But the idea is to keep doing more of this each year, revisit them after a certain number of years, and try and get some data for what type of earthworm communities you get associated with these grasslands and how they change over time. So really interesting project, and as you can see, we did quite a few different meadows in Lancashire earlier this year. So in terms of the data, this year so far has been a really good year for earthworm records. The way that we manage our data is in different data sets. So we've got our National Earthworm Recording Scheme data sets, which is data that we've gathered from recorders, as well as some research data sets as well. And we can see here we've got a massive chunk of earthworm research records that have come in, and that's mostly due to Kerry and the project that she's going to talk about later. So big thank you to Kerry for that. But we've also got quite a sizable chunk of National Earthworm Recording Scheme records for the UK. If you look at the lavender purple bar there compared to other years, it's been one of our best years, and we're not finished yet. And I've got boxes of earthworms still to ID that are going into the recording scheme in my flat, smelling it out a little bit, to be honest. So those numbers will be going up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have our best ever year in terms of recording scheme records for the UK. And I just want to also mention there's a tiny little bit on the end, a yellow bit, which is the National Earthworm Recording Scheme for records data set for the Isle of Man. And I want to say a huge thank you to Sue Harvey, who I believe is in the meeting today, for her records from the Isle of Man. I haven't actually chatted to Emma about this yet, but Sue has sent me some details of many more Vice County firsts that we've got for the Isle of Man, and hopefully we'll be getting them to you, Emma, to check. So Sue's been the only person recording in the Isle of Man, so it may look like a small little bar, but it's making quite a significant difference to what we know about earthworms on the Isle of Man. So thanks very much for that, Sue. So just a quick comparison of where we are now in terms of coverage compared to 2009. The map is getting gradually more and more covered, although it's worth noting that this is for all 31 species that you get in the UK and Ireland. You can see Sue's dots on the Isle of Man there, and these distribution maps were made back in March, so there will be a few more dots there as well. In terms of where our records are coming from in terms of the UK countries and the other territories within the British Isles, we've got quite a significant jump in records for Scotland this year. Again, that is due to Keiron and her project that she's going to talk about later. As usual, England is the country where we've got the most records from, and that's largely to do with that being where we do most of our recording scheme stuff because of where we're based. But 176 records for Wales isn't bad for us. We don't normally get very much from Wales, so that's due to Kerry, and I also did a sampling day near Wrexham, so that's absolutely fantastic. A few more from Northern Ireland, and we can see 30 new records there from the Isle of Man from Sue. So, and that brings us to a total of 25,522 records. And on the slide there, that's just updated, you can see that we've got the total numbers for each of the different territories. There's still a lot of work to do outside of England. There's still a lot of work to do in England, but there's even more to do outside of England. So I will be desperately looking for opportunities to get involved in projects across the rest of the UK and Ireland, Isle of Man, Channel Islands, because I'd like to start filling some of those big gaps.